Hi guys, Rachybop here and welcome to this week's episode of Sims Saturday. Today I would like to address the issue that has come to light this week, which is the fact that The Sims 4 will have no toddlers and no pool building. That's very important to say, pool building. As far as I'm aware, and I may be wrong, so please try and tweet the gurus to get confirmation of this or do some research on the internet, but as far as I'm aware, there's no pool building, but there will be pools. There will be preset pools that we can pop in our game. So that is something. You will still be able to have pool parties and watch your Sims swim. That was just something I'd seen on one website that I was reading that said that they'd have had confirmation of that once they'd gone and researched it. So, but I'm not entirely sure. If that's the case, then it's kind of like, okay, you can kind of get away with that. As for toddlers not being in The Sims 4, I'm not really sure that is acceptable. I like to see both sides of the story when I evaluate things like this, and I'm going to go through everything. I'm also going to give you my opinion. With having no toddlers in The Sims 4, I think what we need to hear is an explanation of why. Sims Camp last year for me was extremely valuable because they explained to us why there are no height sliders, why the hair doesn't move, and the penny kind of drops and you think, right, okay, well, I understand what's involved now, I didn't realise before, I totally get it, I'll be a bit more patient. Whereas when you just get being given the information like there's no height sliders, you're just kind of like, well, why? I kind of hope that they will give us some kind of explanation, a valid explanation of why there are no toddlers in The Sims 4 at the time of the base game release. The reason why there's no height sliders and the hair doesn't move is because of content explosion and how many more staff they would need and how many more hours they would need to do all the animations and all the new coding and everything else. I imagine it to be the same reason for why they haven't put toddlers in. However, I think when you're selling so many copies of a game, and one can only imagine how many, you would expect to put those things in the game, and to have a further release date may cause a lot of whinging and whining, but it would be worth it, I think. Obviously from the fans' point of view, everyone's like, not everyone, I mean some people aren't bothered, and maybe those people are genuinely not bothered, and maybe those people are kind of caught up in the fandom of The Sims, which I think can sometimes be the case. Sometimes it does make you a little more forgiving of what EA and The Sims team gives us. I don't know if this was an EA or The Sims team decision. I imagine it is an EA decision and The Sims team are taking the wrath of it. So please be gentle with them. Definitely get your opinion across, go on Twitter and tell them that you really want toddlers and sign the petition that's going around. If you feel that it's wrong that toddlers and pools are not included in the game, the link to the petition that's floating around is in the description. Go sign that. You know, like, things like that are fine. We need to tell them if we don't like something or we need something or we definitely disagree with something. We're the players of the game and they rely on our feedback, and that's why they tell us things, so that we can say whether we like it or we don't. So you need to tell them if you don't like it, but definitely be delicate about how you tell them. Don't just scream and shout at them and say, you're this, you're that, you just want our money and everything else. This is the Sims team that you're directly talking to. So I think we need to have a bit of respect and be grateful for what they have given us and approach them in a nicer way. And that's to those of you who have been quite aggressive. I've seen some of the tweets on Twitter and I just think that's out of order. There's a way of saying things and it will get a much better reaction if you talk that way. What The Sims reminds me of at the moment is, and the way that for the past sort of 2 years The Sims has been very open and community based, and I think that it kind of reminds me of like a crowdfunded game, but without us actually crowdfunding it. We're just buying it like we would normally, but they're kind of talking to us as if it's crowdfunded. There's not many games that come out and tell you as much in detail as the way the Sims team do, which does indicate that they are listening to our feedback. I don't know what they expected when they said that toddlers weren't in the game. I'm focusing more on toddlers than I am on the pools aspect, because I'm probably not as passionate about the pools part. I'm hoping that I'm right in saying that there are pools to plop, so we really need a confirmation on those facts. With the toddlers side of it, I really don't know what logical decision could make them come to the state where they say, we'll scrap that age, we don't need it. They already had such a backlash of not having creator style, and it really disappoints, and surely they don't want to disappoint, so what is it that's made them not put that in there? And you can only imagine it's money, time, employees, but whatever they need to fix, they need to communicate with us so that we can understand what they need, and then they need to level out whether it's worth changing that. If they need more time, are we willing to wait? If they need more money, are we willing to pay more? Maybe their decision is to put toddlers into an expansion by way of saying, we do need more money for this, so we're going to cut it out of the base game, put it in an expansion, and that way we've been funded for all that extra time. That's the only explanation that could make sense to me, and it definitely does look bad from our point of view as the fans. The reason why it riles me so much, and I'm not as hugely bothered as you guys, I know you guys are so deep into it. I'm quite a light player when it comes to The Sims. I love the game, I play it, I come away from it, I love it, that's it. You guys, you know every aspect of it. You're either a avid builder, not all of you, I mean some of you might not have even played the game. Some people are really deeply into it and they know a lot more about it than me. But one thing that has riled me is the fact that I expected the Sims 4 base game to have everything that the Sims 3 base game had, not expansions, no, I don't, you know, that's not fair, but everything that the Sims 3 base game had and more. So I expected it to be better graphics and, you know, runs better, more features, but at least everything that the Sims 3 base game had, and taking toddlers out of that is really a step backwards. It's like we're substituting something for something else. It's kind of like at the moment we're getting a free to play game that we can purchase optional add-ons for, but we're paying for the free to play bit. I also saw somewhere online that it's been confirmed, and I'm not sure about this either, but it'd be silly not to mention it. It's been confirmed that there are going to be 50 expansions for The Sims 4, which, yeah, it's awesome, all that content, that's amazing, but we have to pay for it, and not everyone wants to do that. I love buying the expansions, but it is an expensive habit, and to keep up with it is really hard. And because of our community, and when you're in the community, it inspires a lot of jealousy and envy, and when people get them, you're left behind quite a lot because you're seeing people getting them, and it's very frequent, and it gives people the impression that they are very money orientated. Although I'm sure in the Sims studio they're absolutely not. I know that the sim gurus have an absolute passion for what they do, and they do what they do very well. What upsets me is the way that we're approaching them to get our point across. Like I said before, definitely voice your opinion. That's why they tell us things. But be nice about it. Yes, we all want toddlers in The Sims 4. If we're honest, we do. But let's say please and thank you. And cross our fingers. Let me know your thoughts about this issue in the comments, and give this video a thumbs up. Make sure everyone sees it. Also, let me know if you'll still be buying The Sims 4 in the comments. One way to put our point across and to not be silly would be to not buy The Sims 4. And if you're very strong-willed and passionate about the toddlers not being in there, that might be something that you would consider doing. Personally, I will still be getting it because I'm enthralled, but that is kind of a silly thing to do because it supports what they're doing. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword in that case. Hopefully there's still time to change this issue, or at least shape The Sims in the future the way we want them to be. So never keep quiet, but always be polite, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!